what?
So you ready?
It's so cute, yo. You always do that little thing with your hands.
The Disney princess. What's up, everybody? My name is Jordan.
My name is Solomon.
For those of you who don't know, we adopted our sweet little chocolate-faced cherub named Joseph in February. So we are going to answer some of the most frequently asked questions about adoption, and Solomon's going to help answer some questions. So the most commonly asked question was, how long did it take for us to get placed? So from orientation to placement, it was a year. We did some research beforehand. I think we spent, like 6 months before?
Probably something like that.
Just doing research, determining the type of adoption we wanted to do and what agency we wanted to go with. So when we found the one we liked, that they had their orientation in February. We had a failed match that like August, September, and then we got placed with Joseph in February. So basically like exactly 1 year, which is very short typically. A lot of people have longer waits, but for us, I think we were pretty fortunate. Another question is, whose idea was it to move forward with adoption?
It was my idea.
Yes. A lot of people think that I like pushed Solomon into us moving forward with adoption because we always planned to adopt. It was just going to be later in life. We just assumed we would have our own children naturally very easily, and we'd have maybe like 3 kids of our own and then adopt an older child later, but it wasn't happening. So Solomon was just like, if nothing happens this cycle, we'll start calling adoption agencies, and the next month I was on the phone with adoption agencies.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Let's see. Another question is, how much was our adoption?
Yeah. Adoption's expensive. I mean, you want to just go the short answer?
Yeah.
And today, out of pocket, probably about 20 grand.
Yeah.
Yep.
So the agency fees were $15,000. They've gone up since we got placed with Joseph, and then we had attorney fees. Those were closer to $2,000, and we're just like lumping everything because we also had to do background checks, medical checks, adoption profile books. Like there's a lot of other stuff that goes into it. So like all in all, it's around $20,000, and that's because our agency is a nonprofit. There are other agencies that I spoke with who quoted anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000, and the thing that sucks about it is that there's no guarantee you actually get placed with the baby. So you can pay all that money, and then the mom changes her mind, and you're pretty much SOL.
This was something real surprising to us, so I'm not looking at the camera. But when we went to our orientation, you called it, basically the agency was going over the fees and basically said you get I don't want to use the word discount, but a price break if you are adopting a special needs kid or a African American. So obviously we asked the question, why would you get the money off on an African American? And they actually consider African American children as special needs
In Florida.
Yeah. Which is something that I think they were talking about at STEMS like a while back. They base it off of all these statistics and likelihood of your African American child causing some type of hardship or whatever. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of messed up. obviously we benefited from it because it's
We're
less
black.
money and we're black, and we're always looking to adopt a black kid anyways, but it's still kind of like, it's like a little messed up thing you kind of think about in the back of your head, like that they actually consider us.
But then on the other side of it, Joseph's caseworker is an older black woman, and she said the reason why they kept the price break for African American is to give more African American couples incentive to adopt, because economically, let's just face it, the black people are often tend to be behind other ethnicities because of racism or, you know, government housing. We don't have the type of generational wealth that a lot of other ethnicities do. So they were hoping that by keeping the African American price point, then more African American or biracial couples would want to adopt, and then giving the moms of African American or biracial children more options to choose from. Because when we went to orientation, there was like 40 other couples there, and us and one other couple were the only black ones. Everyone else was white. And so statistically, African American children are the ones who are more likely to be placed for adoption or put into foster care. And there are so many of these kids who are adopted into transracial families, and they don't have any racial mirrors, which basically means they don't have anyone in their lives that look like them. So they're trying to help get more black children in families with other black people, essentially.
Which is probably why we were placed a little quicker than
Other people.
Could be why we were placed a little quicker.
We were, because pretty much they have your active wait list, and then they have the waiting list. So when we filled out our paperwork, we passed everyone on the wait list and went straight to active, because there was only one other black couple that the agency was working with, and there were a couple moms who were black or biracial who was specifically looking for black couples. And so since all the other ones were white, that wasn't what the mom was looking for. So said, okay, we've got a couple. So they went ahead and put us on the active list. And then our profile got shown to a mom like immediately. As soon as we passed our home study, we gave, like, at the meeting, we gave her a copy of our profile book. And then I think the next day she met with the mom and showed her.
All right. What's the next question?
Okay, another question is, what type of adoption do we have? Is it open adoption or is it closed adoption? And our adoption is 100% closed. I know a lot of people don't like that nowadays, because they say it's better for the mom and it's better for the baby to have an open adoption so they can have that relationship. But the terms of openness is dependent on the mom's wishes, and Joseph's mom, for whatever reason, decided that 100% closed would be the best. So we went along with it, and Joseph's dad here wanted 100% closed anyway, so it all worked out. So another question that we get pretty often is whether or not we had any issues bonding with Joseph. Apparently a lot of people, either they have issues bonding or the baby has issues bonding with them after placement. So did you have any issues bonding?
No.
We met Joseph, we got in the car, Solomon was like, I want him.
All right, here's the story. Actually, so basically, you know, I guess that probably is one of the biggest questions, since it's not your biological child.
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna be able to feel, you know, some difference?
Yeah.
The answer is no. Basically, the day we got,
feel like Joseph is not our child.
Yeah, the day we got placed with Joseph, for me, is when they were trying to help. You know, when I say they, I mean the
caseworkers.
The caseworkers were trying to put Joseph in his car seat, and he wasn't having it. I don't know if it was something wrong with the car seat or something wrong with how they were trying to put him in, but he started crying and letting them know, you know, he wasn't happy. So I think that was pretty much when I realized, like,
It kind of
all
sad
right,
for you.
y'all need to just back up, you know. Back up, give me my kid, so I can get him to safety, And ever since then, I mean, it's just been dad mode. It just kicked in.
We met Joseph about 2 weeks before we were able to bring him home, and they told us to be cautiously optimistic because, you know, things could change with adoption. Nothing is certain until you sign the paperwork. And so, like, every day Solomon would come home from work and he would be like, 8 more days, 7 more days, 6 more days. Like, he was literally counting down every single day until we went to the office to pick Joseph up. We were very excited. And the first day or two, I was kind of like scared to get attached because I was like, oh, what if something happens and someone contests the adoption? I'm still like all up in his face. But I was really nervous the first couple of days. But then after the first couple of days, I was like, no, like nobody is about to come and take this baby from us. But we practiced attachment parenting. So that was really important for us since by the time we got him, he was already 5 weeks. So we were complete strangers to him by this point. I mean, he'd seen us once, but he was only 2 weeks, so he slept through most of it. So we baby wear constantly. When he wakes up, somebody is in his face within 30 seconds. If it takes that long. And if it takes that long, it's because somebody's in the bathroom or got something I need to put down. But, yeah, Joseph is very attached to us at this point. Yeah, like he knows we're his parents. And I don't think it took very long for him to realize that we were his parents and that we were going to be the consistent faces, because he had been shuffled around a lot where he was getting picked up by caseworkers and then was with his foster mom and then with caseworkers, and he saw us and then back with the caseworker and then back to his foster mom. Then the caseworker picked him up again and then brought him to the office and then met us. So it was a lot. But yeah, like now he knows that we're his, essentially. Now he's ours, we're his. He knows that he runs us.
Yeah.
And we're okay with it. He's cute, so we're good.
So another question we get is what made us decide to adopt a newborn instead of a toddler? What would your answer to that be?
I said because originally we weren't planning on adopting in Florida to begin with. We were only supposed to be in Florida for like a year and a half tops. But then our time here kept getting extended, so we decided to look into it. But for a private adoption, it's typically only newborns. For toddlers, they would have to be through foster care. But the only healthy toddlers that were in foster care were usually a part of a sibling group of 3 or more. We didn't have enough space in our house for that many children. And then anyone under 5 that was in foster care typically had a lot of disabilities, and we just aren't equipped to handle those disabilities. So that's my response to it. What about you?
Probably just being able to have an influence on the child at an earlier age than toddler. Because as a toddler, you know, I mean, you know, a toddler, exactly, they already started developing habits. They may have been through some trauma. Obviously, I still think Joseph went through some trauma.
Oh, definitely.
You know, but I mean, it's something that, you know, he's still very young, so it's something that I think he can recover from and just use our love and energy to, you know, to basically forget about it. Mm-hmm. But you know, you're talking to toddlers. I mean, trauma they go through, it could stay with them, and that's just a challenge that I don't think
that is very
we were really that I was willing to take on.
Also, some other kids in foster care have other siblings that are adopted to other families, and one of the requests that they have is that you remain in the area of their other siblings so they can continue to have a relationship. But if we're going to move back to Houston, then we would end up severing that tie they had to their sibling, and I, in good conscience, can't be somebody who separates siblings from each other. Because I'm very close to my siblings, and you're very close to your siblings. Yeah. And I would hate to have been separated from my siblings at a very young age. Another question, I guess related to this, would you adopt again?
I would. I would. I really would.
Like do the whole like newborn private adoption again?
Yeah, my whole thing with it is, I think it's a good question of would you adopt again, and would you recommend, adopting to a family? And really, it boils down to, the means of being able to do it. Because that's kind of been my only gripe with adoption is the expenses behind it. Because I feel like there's a lot of kids who need good homes out there, and I feel like it's basically a market, and it shouldn't be a market like that, but it's really a market that's just for the upper middle class to rich people. And there's a lot of people out there who I think would do it and just don't have the means to really to really be able to afford it. And if they can afford it, well, it's not really affording it if they go through the fees, and then they don't really even have the right life that they want to provide for the child. So that's really my only gripe with it. I think there's a lot more money that they demand out of you that they really don't need to.
Because one of the agencies told me that we had to have $20,000 up front in cash or check for them, and I was like, that seems a little excessive. And that's one of the reasons why we went with the agency that we did, is because we were able to make payments. And so that doesn't mean that you'll get placed faster if you pay more money up front. It really just means that there's less of a risk involved for you, because like I said before, if the mom changes her mind, with some agencies you lose all that money, you have to start back from zero. And other agencies, they'll let you start back from 50%. So if you pay $50,000, then they'll let you start back at $25,000. But I don't know about y'all. I don't know a lot of people that just have $50,000 just sitting around that they can just blow and not know if they'll actually get a child placement from it. Well, thanks so much for watching our video. This will be first of hopefully many more videos that we will make in the future. If y'all have any other questions about the adoption process or just adoption in general, just let us know and we'd be happy to answer them.
Yeah, I'm always down. Maybe not when I'm driving next time.
I make a lot of videos when I'm driving. This seems to be like the only time I can actually record, because Joseph is asleep when we're in the car.
Well, I don't have a social media, so I'm not trained on how to make videos while driving. That's not even safe. Florida passed a law to where you cannot. I'm probably going to go to jail right now. No. Actually, technically, right? I'm not supposed to be on the phone, looking at the phone, anything like that.
You're not looking at the phone. I'm looking at the phone. If we got pulled over, I'd say I was making a video, and he's just the arm candy. He's just here to make the video look good. This is fine. I think you're just not supposed to be texting or like Instagram living or something interactive. This isn't really interactive.
You saw Free Meek. They got him the day after. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if you want to see us on Instagram, we are at Love and Fitness, the number 10 on Instagram. Yep. We have a business Facebook page.
10 is when we met. If you guys was wondering, 10 is when we met. 2010.
Yes. So Love and Fitness, the number 10.
See? You just let them in on that. They ain't know. And
I am attempting to blog more often. So Love and Fitness, number 10.blogspot.com. Yeah, I'm going to try and get my life together and share more with you guys, because we feel really blessed to have been able to adopt Joseph. Like, he has succeeded my expectations, and he's like more than I ever could have hoped for, if I'd birthed him myself. Sometimes I get a little sad, because I'm like, dang, I really wish I made you. But it's okay, because we have him now.
Yeah, he's a great little guy back there asleep.
Knocked out.
But it's time to go to Universal Studios. So yes. He needs to wake up.
Well, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a great day, and stay tuned for more videos.
Peace.